Yo, yo. No spiritual teachers have ever promoted veganism or vegetarianism, and that's because these were natural beings, these so-called spiritual humans. They understood that it's all about raw meat and blood because they still had their natural instincts, as proven in my documentary The NWO Diet also. And that's because being healthy is being spiritual. Watch my video Health Equals Heaven to learn more about this. Link will be in the description. If you're in the human body, one of the most unnatural things you can do is follow the vegan religion, and the diet is part of it. Spirits are natural, so if you want to connect to nature, you gotta do natural things. The only connection to nature is through nature, right? Makes sense. So if you do something as unnatural as veganism, then of course you will not connect to nature. So veganism is more or less the opposite of spirituality, and it is of course Satanism, as I have explained in other videos, because it completely tries to destroy nature. We are apex predators, strong, full of energy, and we dominate. How are we now? They are trying to make us into docile, mentally ill plant eaters. And we cannot even reproduce anymore, and we die much quicker than we are supposed to in nature. Would your spirit waste its energy to keep that kind of a body alive? Of course not.
Veganism is a starvation diet, and this is why only vegans will consider fruitarianism and breatharianism as plausible. People who eat naturally, which is myself, newly though, I'm not bragging to you, it's not about what I'm doing, it's about what our human body requires. Humans who eat naturally don't consider breatharianism as plausible because it's starvation, and starvation means death. But somebody who's used to starvation, such as a vegan, considers it only the natural progression of their lifestyle. Because they've taken one step towards starvation, and they've gotten so used to it, they've normalized their body's hunger, they've normalized their reactions to this, their emotional chaos. And so the next step is fruitarianism. Oh, okay, well I'll just go one step further and eat this only one type of food. Then I'll just go one step further and breathe and look at the sun, and that'll be my food. So it's when you get used to the starvation that you believe that it could be the answer. No food could be the answer. I mean, even the idea that vegans would consider breatharian as an option, that should be a red flag about veganism. Their bodies get so used to being hungry that they consider hungry a natural state. And when you consider things that aren't good for your survival, when you consider them normal or natural, this is when you really lose touch with reality. When you consider starvation as normal, when you consider pain as normal, when you consider chaos and suffering as normal, there's nothing to do about it. And this is how most people live their lives. They normalize misery.
So he has fruit juice and he has tofu and vegan food and soya milk when we have guests for tea. Yeah.
Now, no one would bother much with this nonsense if it wasn't for the fact that Jasmuheen's teachings are linked to the deaths of a Melbourne housewife, Lani Morris, and Timo Deegan, a German schoolteacher, and Verity Lynn, an Australian who lived in Scotland. All were following the radical fasting regime promoted in Jasmuheen's book, Living on Light.
As we know, when we experience personal paradise and take full responsibility for our lives, then we'll have a wonderful chance of creating global paradise.
New Age claptrap, half-baked spiritualism. Call it what you will. But it seems there are plenty of gullible people around to swallow the tripe Jasmuheen serves up.
These chi masters that are so powerful with their radiation, their emanations of energy, they have found that through their key emissions or chi emissions into a crowd, 300 out of 400 people attending automatically stop eating just like that.
I don't take any solid foods. I'm a breatharian. I have been for 19 years.
Back in the early 80s, Californian Wiley Brooks preached much the same message as Jasmine and built quite a following until he was caught coming out of a fast food store with a chicken pie. So you're happy that we lock you up for 7 days and watch you die?
You wouldn't watch me die. I'd come out smiling and laughing of your holiday.
But you're happy that we lock you up for 7 days?
Can we do it somewhere really beachy and yummy?
No, lock you up inside.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
And by day 2, there were already problems.
So you're now over
And I did
5% dehydrated.
I did 4 weeks today. You were pleased. Is that good? I don't know.
If we let this go much longer, that's going to damage your kidney.
Day 3, and Jasmine was complaining that city pollution was limiting the nutrients she was able to derive from breathing fresh air. We were stacking the test against her, she claimed. So we agreed to move to another location.
Oh, to smell the air.
By day 4, her condition had deteriorated dramatically. Her pulse rate was up, blood pressure down, and she had lost 6 kilos. It's Friday night. You started on Monday night. How much water have you had?
None.
None whatsoever.
No, I'm not allowed.
How much food?
None, I'm not allowed.
How are you feeling?
I feel really good now I'm here.
You want a lay opinion?
A lay opinion?
A lay opinion.
Yeah, well, I'd look like I'd lost a lot of weight, and the doctor confirms that.
Yeah, you're not looking real well.
No, I feel good.
You're now quite dehydrated, probably over 10%, getting up to 11%.
I think last night was 5%. My mouth's still moist, and my skin's not bad, so...
But the question
And
is...
her eyes are a little sunken. Her pulse is about double what it was when she started.
Is she entering a dangerous period?
Very much so.
This is 4 24-hour days she's gone now. And what are the risks?
Well, the risks if she goes any further are kidney failure. She's burning up her fat and her muscle. That means she's hardly passing any urine.
That's true. I did 4 times today.
It's too dangerous to continue?
Very much so. Too dangerous to continue. 60 minutes would be culpable if they encouraged her to continue.
So she should stop now?
It should stop now.
Can you come to the intelligent view yet?
If my body tells me, yes.
That you can't survive on air?
No, that's not true, because I've done it for a long period of time, and the last time... Look, 6,000 people have done this around the world without any problem, Richard.
But look, even to a layman like me, at the end of 4 days, I can see your body's collapsing. Will you yet come to...
Because I've spent 2 days fighting carbon monoxide poisoning. If 60 minutes didn't put me beside the Story Bridge, the busiest main road, where, like, I asked for fresh air, like 70% of my nutrients come from fresh air, I couldn't even breathe in that place.
Can you explain how she can believe this, given the evidence in front of her?
But I've done it before.
I can't, and I mean, the vast majority of the community out there don't believe for 1 second that Jasmine practices what she preaches.
You're not in this body to suffer and be sick. It's ridiculous. If you're unconscious because of mental illness, then you cannot be spiritual, because you don't even understand where you are, or who you are, or what's going on, because of the fog in your head. So you're stuck in the body. Of course, there's a difference between being a little bit mentally ill and schizophrenic, for example, but vegans lean more towards the schizophrenia with their paranoia and delusions, and that's my experience, and their mind is more baby or childlike. The only way to meet your full potential is to eat raw animal fat. If you do anything different, then you will always be at least a little bit unconscious.
ככה אני בן אדם שעבר... עכשיו גמרת את התהליך, אה? כן, אני עוד צריך לעשות עוד איזה חור בחגורה נראה לי, אבל חוץ מזה זה בסדר.
גם דרך הבגדים אני יכול לראות כמה הוא רזה.
אני הולך לבקש לך בקשה חצופה. אתה רשאי לסרב, להוריד את החולצה. שנראה מה עושה התהליך לבן אדם. אתה רשאי לסרב. אוקיי, האמת שאני תהיתי אם אתם תבקשו את זה. מה? כן. כי היה מעניין אם כזה יבקשים ממני להוריד חולצה. כן, לא יודע למה זה עבר בראש. ואז אמרתי, מעניין איך אני אגיב לזה. כאילו, אני אגיד סבבה, או שאני אגיד שזה נראה לי קצת... ומה? איזה שאלה מוזרה. כן, בוא נראה איך אני... נראה
לי שסבבה, כן.
בכיף.
אוקיי.
תוריד חולצה?
כן, תוריד חולצה.
גם נשכח שזה עובר.
זהו, בהתחלה בכמה ימים הראשונים הרגשתי לא בנוח.
עוד רגע.
ואני צריך להחזיק את המכנסה.
יואו. אתה נורא רזה.
כן, אני רזה. אני נראה איך שאני נראה, ואני לא במשקל לאט לאט.
אתה לא מודאג?
אני עושה ספורט, אני יוצא, כאילו לפני שבאתי פה גם כזה, היה לי חשק, עשיתי כל מיני דברים. מרגישים כל כך טוב, כאילו אני מרגיש כל כך טוב, כל כך מלא אנרגיה.
תסתובב. שואו, אתה באמת אור ועצמות, מה שנקרא.
אתה יותר רזה ממה שאני הייתי אפילו. למרות שאני לא יודע,
מראש עשיתי את זה רזה.
כן, ממש יותר רזה.
כן, שוב. לא הייתי כזה, תחשב שכאילו 10 קילו יותר. או 9 קילו עכשיו, או כמה שזה לא יהיה.
על גבול האנורקסיה.
שונה מאוד מאוד מאנורקסיה, אבל...
במה?
אנורקסיה זה אנשים שאני לא מכיר את זה יותר מדי, אבל באופן כללי הם לא אוהבים אוכל, הם לא אוהבים את עצמם, הם לא הרבה מאוד דברים אחרים. מבחינתי זה פשוט כמו עשיתי תהליך, ירדתי במשקל ואני גם יודע שאני אעלה אותו. אין לי רצון לשמור על זה.
קל לפסול את תפיסת העולם של ריי ואבירם באמירה שהם פשוט מוזרים. אולי אפילו קוקויים.
Vegans are causing more suffering and starvation right now than they did in the Holocaust. I don't believe the official numbers, but if you do, then you have something to compare it to. Imagine how many people are starving right now in the blind name of veganism. And of course they gotta promote the diet also. And then think about how many animals are killed to make their food, the vegetables, fruit and grains. Millions of rodents, for example, are brutally killed for their food. They don't give a shit because they don't give a shit about anybody. As proven in my other videos, vegans hate animals and nature. And this is all done in the name of being more light or closer to the light. Being half dead. Yes, you can call that spirituality if you want, because you're closer to death, but you're a joke. If somebody would at least eat these animals, then it wouldn't be a complete waste. But what vegans do is stuff themselves full of indigestible plants, and then they wonder why people complain after they have been in the bathroom. Compare that to a zero-carber. Perfect digestion, little to no smell, sometimes your shit literally doesn't stink. And whatever smell there may be, is how it's supposed to be. Now compare that to somebody who only eats food that rots in the body, and you will understand what's up. Of course we see this as primitive and unclean, and we try to cover natural smells such as sweat, testosterone, with a curtain of synthetic chemicals nowadays. This fits in veganism very well because it's an obsession with oneself. It's all about the ego. It's about being higher than others.